recommendation, which was also never materialized. Now, it was finally in July this year when the State Information Commissioner, that is SIC, directed the government to release the report. However, even after the release of the report, the Kerala police has now ruled out legal action. They say, listen, there is lack of specific details such as involved individuals or exact incidents, who's going to go after that. But the government has also allocated 1 crore to establish a consultancy for film policy formulation. Setting up a tribunal, ensuring women's safety, etc., is just fine. That is hygiene. But why is it that Pinarayi Vijayan seems like enough is being done, 1 crore for a film policy, and also to say that, listen, we can't investigate beyond this. Let's hear what leaders from both Congress and the BJP have to say, and then I get back to the experts who are joining me on the debate today.
We have been demanding a high-level investigation should be done in this matter by appointing senior women IPS officers, because the government is keeping a report, not only the report, but the deposition of the victims regarding the sexual exploitation, criminalization and drug abuse in the film field. And while the government is keeping those evidences, those depositions given by the victims, why they are not going for an investigation? That is our question. The government is having legal obligation to conduct investigation and find out the culprits in this matter. But now the government is trying to avoid an investigation. And they have been keeping this report for the last nearly 5 years. This report was submitted in 2019. What happened to the report? No further action was taken by the government so far for the last 5 years.
See, in fact, the Hema Committee report, which has been submitted or which was submitted almost 5 years ago, the government hid it from not only the public view or the public purview, but the government decided not to take any action on the specific instances of harassment that came to the light of the Commission. The Commission itself says that we are shocked to hear the incidents of harassment against women. Even the harassment against children. As per the POCSO Act, any person who had the knowledge of the sexual offences of a child has to report it to the concerned authorities. In fact, on that count, not only those in the government but even the Hema Committee is at fault for not reporting it to the concerned authorities of the law.
All right, let me welcome the guest now, Fauzia Fatima, who is cinematographer and founder, Indian Women Cinematographer Collective, that is IWCC. And we also have Asha Jomis, who's an activist from Kerala, who's joining us. As always, she comes on my shows talking about women's rights. A very, very warm welcome to both the ladies here. Fauzia Fatima, let me come to you, and I'm going to ask Asha the same question. Like I said, yesterday I did this show, and a member of WCC, Women's Collective, Cinema Collective, said don't demonize the Malayalam film industry. Someone else also said that you should not demonize it. The usual whataboutery began that look at that industry, this industry. All I'm saying is there is a problem, and I think we need to face it. Do you think this is demonizing the Malayalam film industry? And I quoted people like Adur, I quoted people like Shaji Karun, Arvindan. I said I'm a great fan, and for God's sake, Malayalam cinema today people may have discovered. Good for them, young generation. But it's got, it's like Bengali cinema. It's been there, on the anvil. So do you think it's demonizing it unnecessarily, blowing it out of proportion, both the Hema Committee report as well as what has transpired so far? Fauzia Fatima.
See, when we are talking about the facts, then it is a matter is coming out in the open, and it needs to be discussed and got to the source of why it is there and how it can be changed for the future. Now, going in a punitive way or tracking XYZ person it becomes an individual. It's another process, but it is an opportunity for us to reflect on why the situation is like this and how we can change it in future. I think that is much more meaningful, and yeah, there should be a due process and demonizing. I mean, it's a rhetorical game actually.
Right. Okay. Asha Jomis, Fauzia Fatima started this conversation. Of course, she says that we need to face it, head on and look at why does this happen and why it should not happen going forward. But the whole point is that now the Kerala police is very clear and they are saying, listen, we can't possibly go after the perpetrators. Now we know that the report talks about even those who are juveniles. I mean, I'm using that term legally and not in any other fashion. Young girls who, and we know that our industry has 15-year-olds acting as heroines. Enough and more evidence is there. There are child artists, who are actually in the cusp, prepubescent as it's called. The Kerala police says, what do you expect us to do? And Pinarayi Vijayan, very conveniently, I think, and I'm going to have stuck my neck out and I'm saying it, that right since the time the delays which have happened, I understand COVID, I understand interviews, I understand, how the privacy has to be solved. But do you think that no criminal procedure can be carried out and we just forget about it and go forward? Is that what we are fighting for, Asha Jomis?
Absolutely not. So if you look at the very beginning of the actress case, what we can clearly see is that there was an allegation of conspiracy, and it was the CM himself who came to the reporters and conveyed the idea that there is no conspiracy. He in fact told the media people that there was no conspiracy involved in the actress case. Now we need to understand that it was completely unexpected from the head of the state to make such a comment on a case that was still under investigation. In the later months, it was established that there was indeed conspiracy in the actress case and an actor was arrested. So from day one, we know that the politicians are unnecessarily involved in this case. And when the report was submitted to the government in 2019, now it's almost 5 years since the government got the report, the government chose to take no action whatsoever. Forget about pressing criminal charges against the actors mentioned in the report. There are a number of other suggestions that were put forward by Hema Committee, and the government chose not to take any action. Now, if you connect all these dots, we will clearly understand that the government had clear interest to protect the criminals in the industry. It has got nothing to do with the demonizing.
But why would it do it? But why would
industry?
Sorry, Asha, but why would they try to protect the so-called criminals in industry? Is it a nexus? Because no one has ever spoken about it. These are just mafia dons, directors, producers, casting directors, etc., etc. Cinematographers are also apparently included in this. But why would the government try to protect them, Asha?
So our research team has been looking into various reasons why the government would do that. And while there are limitations with the mainstream media to report or to bring out the names in the power group as mentioned in the report, today morning, Media One came out with a report saying that, it is not just the Hema Committee report. There was a competency committee that was, sorry, not competency, competition committee that came out with a very similar report and named the top superstars, Mammootty, Mohanlal and Dilip, as the power group or the group that controlled the film industry. Now for people, ordinary people in Kerala, this would be so shocking to know that these actors, say for example Mammootty or Mohanlal, who they have worshipped, as film stars or as their heroes, they would really expect them to be not involved. So I think that, along with the factor that two ministers in the current government, two elected representatives. Both of them have been ministers at some point or the other of the left government. That is one, Ganesh Kumar and Mukesh, have been mentioned in many online medias as being a part of this power group. And Mukesh has been called out, who is an elected representative from the left government, has been called out by women in film cinema industry in 2018, I believe. So these are the reasons, primary reasons why they don't want to bring out this report. Because if they bring out this report and have to take action, then they have to take action against these most powerful men.
All right.
So I'm quoting this based on the reports coming out from Media One, online channels, etc. And again with Ganesh Kumar and Mukesh, since they are within the government, they are part of the government. So you understand the irony, right?
Well,
they're not just film stars; they are also elected representatives of the left government who are involved with abusing women.
All right.
And in both these cases.
Yeah, let me come back to you. I'll come back to you. Fauzia Fatima has been waiting. Fauzia Fatima, you are somebody who's a professional yourself. Today, it is about whether Pinarayi Vijayan, and Asha spoke very eloquently, gave her theory about how, because there are powerful men involved in this and they can be actors as well as elected representatives, that the government wants to safeguard them. I also have you give 1 crore and you say that, okay, you set up a film counseling body, as it were. That seems like really chicken feed, don't you think, Fauzia Fatima? I mean, this is a very serious thing. When you're going to set up a tribunal, there are going to be people who, of course, want some action. I mean, you are also protected under the Right to Information Act, where I don't want my name to come. But if I want my name to come, there are people, there is legalese involved in this. What is this that, he's also said we don't have the financial kind of support to, give more money to set this up. Although it's very clear that the committee has said you do this. There is a kind of a very casual attitude towards this, Fauzia Fatima, is what I feel. And from our left government.
Yeah, the dilly-dallying which is seen is definitely protectionist, and it is a diversion, and it is deviating from actual action that needs to be taken. And more potent reforms and things that actually change will destabilize the centers of power, and there is every attempt to delay transformations and changes. So the status quo is being upheld, and that's quite evident, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to take a break, ladies and gents, but when I come back, I'm going to go back to both Asha Jomis as well as Fauzia Fatima. But look at this before I take a break. It was only in July this year when, in response to a petition by 5 applicants, that the State Information Commissioner, that is the SIC, said, release the report. It is ASAP, that is now you release the report. That's the question we are asking. Is Pinarayi Vijayan shirking responsibility? See you on the other side. Do wait up.
This is News 9 Live, India's only digital exclusive live stream. For the early adopters, bringing you the news 24/7. For the smart audiences on the smartest TVs. News 9 Live. Stream now on your smart TVs.
It's said that out of 7 diamonds across the world, 5 are cut and polished in India.
Don't forget, US is the largest consumer of, polished diamonds and the diamond jewelry. And that has taken a big beating for multiple reasons, but largely because of the consumer spending going down on these items. And that's essentially what has hit the diamond industry.
We are at a brim where you see not just one, but multiple very strong global brands coming out of India. And we will make a global mark, and I'm convinced about that.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
All right, that's the main story that we are talking about is Pinarayi Vijayan shirking responsibility over the Hema Committee Report. Why is it that it looks as if it's not being taken seriously by both Kerala police as well as Kerala government, and at the center of it is a man called Pinarayi Vijayan. Fauzia Fatima, who's a cinematographer and founder Indian Women Cinematographer Collective, is with me, and Asha Jomis, activist Kerala. Let me go to Asha Jomis. Asha, tell me something. You know, the Kerala police says there are 2 aspects to kind of initiating a criminal procedure, Asha. One is that, of course, you know, if you want to protect the identity of those who have a problem, fine, and under the Right to Information Act. And the other is that these women or these girls, they say, I beg your pardon, haven't really named the men. Then how do we go after them? What is the way out? Because, you know, I go back to that report where you say that if you speak against them, you could be banned, you can be abused online, you'll be cornered, you'll be pushed into a corner, you will get no work. Is it the now what recourse does Kerala police have then?
No, I think under the existing Indian laws, if there is a cognizable offense, the police can take a case without the person formally filing a complaint. Now, the report has the names of the people who are involved in these crimes, but what we see in the public domain right now is only a redacted document.
Right.
This document, which is under the custody of the Kerala government, some of the senior lawyers in the state have suggested that they should go to the High Court and get the permission of the court to get the report and file cases where, particularly if minors are abused, then we have to take the case, sudo motu case. We do not have to wait for them to complain. Now, even if the government is refusing to do such a thing, it's been almost 5 years since the government had this report. It has taken no corrective measures to ensure the safety of women in cinema. So if you look at the Vijay Babu case, it came after the submission of the report.
Right.
So it clearly shows the failure of the government to protect women in cinema. Now, in that case, the victim or the survivor has gone to the police directly, and we all know what happened. Her name under Indian law was supposed to be protected, and there was a criminal offense committed by Vijay Babu by revealing her name through a Facebook live video, and then he absconded to Dubai.
Right.
Now, this Vijay Babu is roaming around free. And these are the examples that we have in front of us, which would have zero encouragement, which will give zero encouragement to any women who want to complain to the police or to a committee or to a commission.
Right.
So the government is acting as if it has no way out of this. But imagine if a poor girl is going to the police station and complaining a case on rape by a very powerful politician. Will the police say that, we have to protect the victim, so we can't take the case against the politician?
I mean, valid
no, right?
question.
That's not how the Indian laws
valid.
work.
That's a valid
They're
question.
trying to confuse people by saying that the identity of the victims have to be protected. Whether the identity of the victims are revealed in the report, or if they go to the police station directly, it is the job of the government, the police, to protect
Absolutely.
their identity.
I completely agree.
And that we have seen that the police have clearly failed, even when they have gone directly to the police in the Vijay
Right.
Babu
You know,
case.
Asha, I get a feeling that, okay, the report is out, now keep quiet, enough. 1 crore I'm giving for a film counseling kind of a body. Also, we cannot take up everything. Everything is over. Go home. Be happy. You know, that's the attitude. When I read all the reports and heard him speaking in Malayalam on screen in local channels, that's the feeling I got. Let me go to
I'm
Fauzi.
sorry, this is not a therapy session.
Exactly.
This is not a therapy session.
But then who's
for
to
criminals
say?
to go home and be happy.
Yeah, you know, to say that, okay,
not.
done, we are done. There is a dismissive attitude towards things, and I see that happening a lot. And let me stick my neck out, a lot. You know, what else do you want? It's done. That's all I can do. Fauzia Fatima, considering you're a professional yourself, you know, all the recommendations that have been made by the committee, the thing is, it's very good to have a redressal system, to have a tribunal, to see that, you know, apparently alcohol should be banned, etc., etc. I don't think any of that is workable. For me, the only thing workable is some kind of a punishment. I don't mean a very harsh punishment, but some kind of a shaming. Like, for instance, it does happen that, you know, you're either asked to leave the film, or you're asked to kind of, producer guild is told that, you know, do not sign him up for the next whatever big films which are coming. Don't you think, Fauzia, there has to be a deterrent, you know, so that this doesn't happen, rather than saying, okay, you go complain. There is a counseling, we will talk about it, because I know we've seen a lot of such cases, 8, 9, 10 years just pass by.
That's true, because in case of complaints, there are always people who might influence and protect, you know, the perpetrators. Therefore, from what we have seen in action, in application, there's a protectionism in place, and it always protects the wrongdoers. So definitely a deterrent is a good way moving forward, and strong punitive action, and you know, banning from projects, banning from industry for a given period of time. I mean, there has been instances where you know, erring people have been banned for a, you know, stipulated time, 2 years, 5 years, things like that. So 1-2 cases like that itself will make people think twice. Now, what has happened is, because WCC has come forward and said things in public, people who have been vociferous have been sidelines. You know, it's a negation that, you know, these people exist only. So vice versa, the perpetrators should also go through, you know, being put on the margins and put on hold and being banned, and shaming, public shaming, definitely.
Yeah, but Fauzia Fatima, if you look at it, the big studios are controlled, whether it's Mumbai, whether it's Chennai, whether it's anywhere else, the big studios are controlled by men. Of course, there are women, daughters-in-law, but they are not the ones controlling. The purse strings are in the hands of the men. If you look at it, the big superstars are men. There is one female superstar in Tamil film industry called Nayanthara. I'm so happy she's called a female superstar. I'm really happy. We've got awards, all the women in, you know, many women in Malayalam cinema. There are no two ways about it. We are there saying, yay, you know, we got the award, great films being made. But still, do you think the problem is because it's a men's world, Fauzia Fatima?
Obviously, because it is to retain the power, the money, the capital, and you know, and nobody wants to destabilize the way things work, and whoever benefits from the system would want to, men and women would want it to sustain. It's not an easy task, and therefore more you know, watchdogs and more people being vociferous is very important, especially in times like this, because left to powers, no, they are going to be protectionist of men and women. They protect each other.
Yeah. Asha, you know, she says men and women are going to be protectionist. Asha, I spoke about how actress Sharada, whom I really respect, and I, as a child, used to watch all her films. Yesterday, she's member of the Hema Committee, and she said, you know, all this is happening because girls are wearing short clothes, and, you know, how they talk about their love life out in the open, and how, you know, in our times, there was no casting couch. There was, but we could say, no, we don't want to do it. Look at the attitude, Asha Jomis. I mean, I'm sure that not just Pinarayi, but a lot of other men who are saying, okay, enough, you made enough noise, it's now, let's move on, we have other things to do. They are influenced by this kind of attitude. Maybe Sharada Amma did not have to face it. Maybe someone else didn't have to face it. But I don't think she's a representative to speak about every actor who may be, you know, dancing or singing or crying or running around trees in cinema.
I've seen a lot of women coming out within the film industry and saying arguments like this. This is 2024 and it's still unbelievable that people would make such arguments. We've come a long way, yet we have to debunk these kind of arguments that women do not get raped because they wear short dresses. It is because the criminals want to rape and they can rape and can get away from any legal implications that they rape. It has nothing to do with women. And I've also heard the same argument that I've walked out of sets where, I had to compromise and things like that from many panelists in the last few days. It's deeply saddening. And also it's like saying that I've never been hungry in my life, so world hunger doesn't exist kind of arguments. I do not know where do we begin. We need to understand that it is not one actress or two actors. It's been a collective. It's been like a biggest protest moments in the most constructive way that Malayalam cinema has seen, that all the women artists have come together and asked the government to change the systemic oppression that happens in the industry. Now, they have not done this just for women in cinema. This is for all women in all working places. And we should not fail to see that. And that is why it is very important to understand that if there is a systematic oppression or ways in which certain industries function, not just in cinema, any other workplaces, maybe in television or in serial spaces, TV entertainment spaces. I've worked for some time in television industry, and I've seen that this is a practice in television industry too. So we have to make sure that the safety of the women in workplace is paramount. And if the government have enough information and data to establish that there is a pattern of abuse in workplaces, it should take corrective measures rather than making excuses and protecting these powerful men. See, the CM of Delhi is in jail as we talk about this right now, right? So what is different from that CM and the powerful men in cinema in Kerala, that the law have to act differently? And just because two men, as mentioned by the leading Malayalam media houses from today, Ganesh and Mukesh, may or may not be involved, why don't you investigate that and take corrective measures so that women in the future do not have to face this? And that is what all this struggle is about. It's not just about women in cinema, for women in workplaces, not in Kerala, not just in India, across the world. And we have seen that after the Me Too movement exploded in US, there were a lot of corrective measures that was brought into the cinema industry, such as the intimacy coordinator, and a lot of new positions were put in practice so that women feel safe in working places. And I think that is the lesson that we have to take from those kind of movements, and have to applaud women in cinema for bravely coming out and doing a protest like this, so that a committee is formed, a report has been brought out, a policy is going to come out. Now, it is a responsibility of women in cinema and outside of cinema to collaborate.
That's what I'm going to ask. This collab is what I'm going to ask, Asha. Fauzia Fatima, because there is this kind of a very, lukewarm response, as it were, according to me, are the women in cinema, in Malayalam cinema, forget Malayalam, Hindi, whatever, Telugu, Odia, are they going to come together and do something about it? Because the needle will not move. The men, they control everything, you know it, you're a cinematographer, we know all this, it's the men who do it. The women, some of them also keep quiet because I don't blame them, or maybe they're to be blamed, whatever it is. But the question is that, are you planning to do something about it?
Certainly, this is a fantastic opportunity to get many voices on the table and actually reach out to young women and people who are desiring to enter the field, and what kind of knowledge is going to empower them and equip them to deal with situations like this. And it's just not, not to have a victim mentality and how to take on these kind of situations. So this is a fantastic opportunity to empower women across the country and those whoever wants to enter the media. So this is a takeoff point, and definitely with the four-armed and a woman, a lady getting into the field is going to fight better and will know how to handle the situations what come up, because to a large extent these are predictable and irrespective of clothing, age, whatever, how to recognize situations are going out of control, how to what action to be taken, all these. It's an opportunity really to reach out to many people and young people and empower them. I see and a situation to come across the table and collab. Definitely.
Collab is fantastic, Fawzia Fatima, but as of today, even as you're speaking with me, you're disappointed because Hema Committee Report, of course, we knew I knew what it would have contain. I was been waiting for years. But does it disappoint you that the men that we vote to power have this kind of, it's all right, it's a kind of not all right in that sense, but a very lukewarm, shirky kind of a behavior towards something as serious as this? It's a crime. If you look at it, it's a crime. Fawzia?
Patriarchy at its best.
Yes.
And in cinema, you see, even feminism is when it is hot selling, people are lapping it. The same people will do feminist cinema also, because there's so much hypocrisy rampant hypocrisy. You can talk great things, but it doesn't have to be in action. So if we are two-faced and we know it, it's not a surprise. Definitely, we are facing a Jekyll and Hyde and whatever you call it. It's a very hypocritical, benevolent patriarchy at work. See, we heard you. We will talk about it and be happy with it. But things are going to go on as it is. See, yeah, this is the stage I feel where we are at, and we are belling the cat, and we are calling out, and we hold them by the collar and say, okay, we know it. And I mean, disappointment is just it's a very small word actually. It is known, it is anticipated. This is how they will behave. We know it.
On that note, thank you very much. Thank you. I've completely run out of time. Thank you very much, Fawzia Fatima, for joining us, and also Asha Jomis for joining us on this broadcast about whether Pinarayi is shirking responsibility when it comes to Hema Committee Report. Coming up next, Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar holds a closed-door meeting with Satish Jarkiholi. Is DKS preparing for Siddaramaiah's exit? What's the plan? That's after the break. Don't go away.
Pass. We'll put new glasses in the windows and they keep breaking it. This is the fourth time you are playing football throughout the day. Will you win the world by playing football?
Yes, uncle. I will now conquer the world by playing football. Let's go to Germany.
World's largest football talent hunt, News 9 Indian Tigers and Tigresses. In association with DFB Pokal, Bundesliga, BVB and India Football Center. Train and play matches in Europe. Register now and fly to Germany. IndianTigersandTigresses.com.
Big fan of Ian Bell, watching him very classy in all formats.
I find Durban quite a challenge, which is still an enjoyable one.
You're not allowed to bowl a bouncer, so that tells you that they want to see runs on the board.
बड़े अच्छे टूर्स किए हैं, बड़ी अच्छी यादें हैं हर जगह की, जहां मैंने पर्सनली क्रिकेट को बहुत एंजॉय किया, ऑस्ट्रेलिया एंड इंडिया में बहुत ज़्यादा एंजॉय किया.
I love playing again England and India, and they were both very different challenges.
Up close and personal with legendary cricketers like never before. Icons of the pitch. This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
And Muktiwani Yoda was aide to Sheikh Mujibur, came to my CEO. I told him that the family of Sheikh Mujibur under captivity of the Pakistani forces. The first lady came with Sheikh Mujibur and she embraced me and said, the God, the Allah has sent you to save us. Modi ji and the Hasina, during talk, she brought out this point again that Major Ashok Tara of Indian Army said me, my mother, my sister, my brother, we got independence on 17th December because of Ashok Tara.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
That's our next big story. Is DKS getting ready for Sidda's exit? We are asking a question, we are not making a statement. Now, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's failure to secure a stay in the High Court on Monday, despite Senior Counsel Abhishek Manu Singhvi representing him, raises the crucial question of his ability to continue in office if an FIR is filed against him. Even as there is much anticipation as to what Siddaramaiah's future shall be, on 29th of August, the party and government is gearing up for that one eventuality. What if Siddaramaiah has to go? It's an eventuality. I mean, you never know. Earlier this week, in what was seen as a hitherto unknown sight, Deputy Chief Minister and KPCC President DK Shivakumar met his one-time rival Satish Jarkiholi for a private 40-minute discussions. Just the two leaders, no one around, no one was present. And let's not forget that the two men have had a strenuous relationship ever since Satish's brother Ramesh was caught in a sleazy tape. And also Satish has also spared no words when it came to DKS and his brother Suresh. As also there is the Belagavi politics in the past as to who will be more dominant than the other. So the both of them are competitors in more ways than one. So what was the meeting about? As to who shall take over the reins of the KPCC and who occupies the CM's chair? In any eventuality, the two leaders need each other's support. That's undoubtedly, it has to be there. Let's debate. Vijay Grover, senior journalist who keeps a very keen eye on the goings-on of the politics of Karnataka, has joined us now. Vijay, you know, the thing is that, of course, legals I've spoken to, many people are saying, but then you can never leave anything to tomorrow. So this meeting of Satish Jarkiholi with DK Shivakumar, how do you see it? Because no one else was around. You must know more about it than I do.
Well, Sudhasi, the way you actually raised a very pertinent question, which we have been discussing about in close quarters. The fact that, you brought it out on the public domain on a television platform, that itself shows, the kind of speculation that is going rife on this meeting. This particular meeting is very crucial given the fact that, there is certainly questions about whether there will be an FIR filed, whether there will be prosecution sanction, which is now being discussed in the courts till 26th. It's been held up. But after that, what we are now looking at is a scenario where, in case there is a change of guard, who could take charge of this? Given the fact that there is only two contenders that we have seen, and Satish Jarkiholi and DK Shivakumar are the two worthy contenders within the party, as is being seen, apart from Mallikarjun Kharge, who could be parachuted into state politics in case there's a need. No, but clearly the two leaders will be playing a very crucial role, and that's why this meeting becomes very, very important. Now, why Satish Jarkiholi had to meet DK Shivakumar? Okay. Given the fact that, DK Shivakumar has aspirations to become the Chief Minister, but given the fact that, the inquiries against him are not yet complete, so that is where, there is a halt. Now, will they work in tandem in case there is a change of scenario? That is where, to try to sort out issues so that, the MLAs themselves, there is a very crucial MLAs meeting which is expected in the next couple of days, and that could pave the way that, these strength of unity, the show of, unity that these two leaders are trying to get is clearly to keep the flock together so that the BJP and the JDS do not even make an effort to poach any of the MLAs who could be, border or fence sitting.
Yeah, but then don't you think that in case DKS has to occupy the CM's chair, I'm talking about eventuality, he does require Satish Jarkiholi's support. You know that the both of them have been sparring now for years and months, let's say, because considering that, their government formed 2 years ago. So do you think that a year ago? So do you think that it is very, very crucial for DKS, who's been trying his level best to be Chief Minister, let's not mince words, Suresh has spoken about it many times, he needs Satish's support. But then will Satish be happy if he does not even get the presidentship of KPCC?
Well, see, certainly this is what I think. So they're trying to sort out the issues that are there. There could also be a post of deputy CM that could be created the way it is there now at the moment. But DK Shivakumar also knows the fact that, even if he comes on par, at the moment, though, the Congress is very clear on the fact that they will not buckle under pressure and resign. Even if worst come worst scenario, if Siddaramaiah is, arrested, they might continue like the Kejriwal model, because the party says that if it is Siddaramaiah tomorrow who, succumbs to this kind of pressure, tomorrow it could be somebody else. Tomorrow it could be Revanth Reddy in Telangana who could face a similar situation. So the Congress High Command is very clear. Come what may, they're going to fight it out legally and stand with Siddaramaiah, irrespective of what the courts decide or whatever is the legal battle that's continuing at the moment.
But there is something brewing, Vijay. I mean, you think, because you in Bengaluru must have discussed it, because there is also talk about G. Parameswara perhaps who's being looked at, the Home Minister, to take over Siddaramaiah.
Well, see, very clearly, caste factor does come in, and that is something that, we have seen, that, while the Okaligas and the Lingayats are very clear that they would want a chief minister from their community, even the OBCs and the backwards are now looking at a scenario where there could be a situation where we would be looking at a Dalit chief minister. Two names that come to front. One is whether Mallikarjun Kharge comes back to the state, takes the chief minister, or he lets G. Parameswar take charge on that. So clearly that is something where, the OBCs and the Dalits are certainly looking at the situation where they will want to have a better representation, and it suits Siddaramaiah also to not hand over charge to an upper caste chief minister and give it to somebody either in the OBC or the Dalit community.
Then don't you think Satish Jarkiholi makes for a better candidate? I know it's a long shot, but
certainly, the fact, the statement that came 2 days back from Satish Jarkiholi that he would want to see Siddaramaiah complete 5 years, he was only showing his loyalty, and that is where, the loyalty cards play out, that he showed his loyalty, but at the same time will not give up his aspirations.
On that note, Vijay Grover, as always, thank you very much for joining us on the debate and weighing in on what can be the permutations and combinations and what's really brewing in Karnataka. Why did Satish Jarkiholi and DK Shivakumar have this secret meeting? Next coming up, a 90 feet tall Hanuman statue unveiled in Houston in Texas, the third tallest in the US. That's coming up next. Alright, so that's it. 90-foot Hanuman statue unveiled in the US. Look at the hands of that statue. Can you see it? They are raised, and I'll tell you why. On 18th of August, the Hindu diaspora in Houston, Texas was in for an unusual sight. The 90-foot tall Hanumana statue, now the third tallest in the country. The Pran Pratishtha ceremony of the Hanuman statue was held at the Sri Ashtalakshmi temple in Sugar Land, Texas, and is garnering a lot of devotion and, of course, interest amongst the community. The statue is named the Statue of Union and commemorates Lord Hanuman's role in reuniting Lord Rama and Sita in Ramayana. If you look closely at the statue, if we can keep on that visual for a bit. Look at that, look at that. If it pans up, I'll tell you. Yeah, look at those two hands. They are raised up, right? Arms raised. And now, according to mythologist and writer Dr. Devdutt Patnaik, it is based on the Thai Buddha's gesture of do not fight. Look at that, it's beautiful. Hanumana, who is usually seen as a symbol of strength, of course, a symbol of great loyalty, and also, you know, somebody who's also seen as a warrior here is somebody who's saying, do not fight. Someone who was behind this monumental project is His Holiness Sri Chinnaji Swamiji, who during the ceremony emphasized the significance of the statue in symbolizing the glory of Indian heritage and spiritual unity. But what I like about this Anjaneya, as he is called in much of South India, or Hanumana, is that his hands are raised and he is saying, do not fight, something that all of us require in the times that we live in. And as promised, I leave you with some of the other top headlines from the south of India. Thank you for watching. Namaskara.
Fast, 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 fast.
My God, isn't she your daughter?
Yes.
She's playing football. This is boys' game. Make her study. If she doesn't get a good job, she will get a good match. Will you win the world by playing football?
Yes, auntie. My daughter will win the world by playing football.
Let's go to Germany.
World's largest football talent hunt, News 9 Indian Tigers and Tigresses. In association with DFB Pokal, Bundesliga, BVB and India Football Center. Train and play matches in Europe. Register now and fly to Germany. IndianTigersandTigresses.com.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
The Maldives recently renewed MOUs with India for training of its civil servants. At the same time, the island nation has also signed defense agreements and infrastructure deals with China. This balancing act by the Maldives, as Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar says, does not affect India, but it most certainly points to Malé trying to exploit the long-standing conflict between India and China. How its neighbors are exploiting India-China conflict. News 9 Plus decodes. Let's first begin with which countries are walking the tightrope between India and China. Nepal, the Maldives, Myanmar, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh have maintained friendly ties with both the nations. Now, how are the neighbors benefiting? India is one of the largest contributors to foreign direct investment in Sri Lanka. The total FDI from India so far exceeds $2.2 billion. India is also Sri Lanka's largest trade partner. China sells a range of modern armaments to Sri Lankan armed forces. Sri Lanka relies heavily on Chinese credit to service its foreign debt burden. In Nepal, India is pivotal to nation's overall development. Under the Aid to Nepal budget, India has given 1,200 crore rupees to Nepal for economic development. China assists Nepal in improving its infrastructure, trade, standard of living, economy, technology, and many other areas. Where India was a key partner for Nepal, China is now stepping into that role. It's more or less the same story with Bangladesh. Just like Sri Lanka, India has extended $8 billion in credit for developing road, rail, shipping, and port infrastructure in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is developing a 783-acre special economic zone to provide exclusive benefits to Chinese firms. But why are these nations exploiting the India-China conflict? Because it is important to tread a fine line between two Asian powers, the neighboring regional hegemon India and the resurgent great power China. Why are India and China helping these nations? For one very simple reason, to emerge as the single most powerful and friendly nation in the region. While India and China try to outdo each other, their neighbors benefit.
Donald Trump's statements are getting bizarre by the day. A few days ago, Donald Trump claimed that a large gathering of plainly evident people who greeted Vice President Kamala Harris at a rally in Detroit didn't exist. In fact, there is a laundry list of such outlandish claims. But why? Why is Trump increasingly clinging to conspiracy theories? Is Kamala's campaign making Trump anxious? News 9 Plus decodes. He has definitely become desperate. At least that's what Trump's former aide says. Sarah Matthews, Trump's former aide, said he has become desperate because of the surge in support for his political opponent. She also went on to claim that Trump feels this election is slipping away from him. Which other bizarre statements has Trump made? Trump has launched a scathing line of attack against his rival's racial identity, expressing confusion with the dual black and Indian origins. I didn't know she was black until a few years ago, he had claimed. Then he accused her of using AI. Trump has claimed that an image of thousands of people waiting at Detroit's airport at Harris's arrival for a campaign rally was fabricated with the help of artificial intelligence. In another instance, Trump said President Joe Biden had prepared to have the FBI assassinated.